Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. And I just want to say welcome, Tara, to the show and everything for our review for 10 Things I Hate About You. I appreciate you taking out your time of your day to do this review with me. And believe it or not, this is actually our Valentine's Day episode. And I just want to say this Happy Van Halentine's Day. Untouch your heart. People have dreams. When love walks in, dance the night away. It feels so good. Panama. So that's what I have to say about that. Happy Van Halentine's Day to everybody, or Happy Valentine's Day. And like I said, this is our Valentine's Day episode for tomorrow. If you're watching this today, hey, this is actually a little bit of a freebie and everything. So I appreciate you guys actually tuning in for this. So, without further ado, let's go on ahead and get on with the show. So, whenever I said that we were going to be reviewing 10 Things I Hate About You, what was your first initial thoughts about the film? Because I know this is your first time watching this film.
Yeah, it was definitely not what I expected, and I really don't know what exactly I was gonna expect. It was definitely like when they showed like the kid walking through the crowds and stuff, and he was, getting shown around like where everything's at, and it just threw me back where I remember when I first went to high school, how it was just so different and how people react with each other. So it was like it just threw me back to that experience.
All right. Yeah, I can definitely see how that could be because I also had some of those experiences too that within this film as well. So yeah, I totally get that. And this movie stars Heath Ledger as Patrick Verona. You actually have Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Cameron James. Then of course you have Julia Stiles as Kat Stafford, and then her sister played by Larissa Olnake. I think that's actually how you spell it. I'm sorry if I'm butchering her name, but she plays Bianca Stafford, and basically it's about this kid named Cameron. He moves into this new neighborhood in Seattle, and he's being shown around because he's the new kid on the block and everything. He winds up falling for Bianca, which is Kat's sister, younger sister. And basically the father actually has a stipulation on how when Bianca can actually date. She can't date anybody unless Kat actually dates somebody. And Kat is one of these girls that you don't even want to mess with or anything like that. She's really independent. She's also very smart. She's also the type of person that doesn't want a relationship. She doesn't need a man to actually please her or anything like that. Not only that, but men are also afraid to even date her in the first place. And also,
Yeah.
too, I love the very beginning because at the very beginning we actually have Eve Six that's actually being played, and it has this little popish kind of thing like all the popular girls would actually listen to. Then all of a sudden Julia Stiles
Mhm.
comes in with her car, her Mustang, which I really love, and she's playing I Don't Give a Damn About My Reputation, and it just shows the context of the different worlds that she's in and also the different worlds that the other characters are in and everything, and how different they are from each other. And I
Mhm.
definitely love that whole entire opening scene, because it actually gives you some groundwork on the type of character that we're going to be dealing with Julia Stiles, with Kat, later on in the film. So, what did you think about the opening scene for that?
I really liked it because it really shows that you have different types of people. You have one group that's like into hip hop, then you have people who are in the country. Well, I really got, I know a friend of mine who does not like the music I like, and the music she listens to is eh. So it's kind of like it really shows that there's always going to be somebody that's going to be slightly different from you. And I can definitely tell when the camera first showed her face. I can definitely tell like she was the boss of herself. She was not gonna let no guy come in her life and just take her away. Like if that guy was gonna slip her off her feet, he better be worshiping her feet.
Exactly. And another thing, though, too, I liked about the opening and everything, aside from the Mustang and stuff like that, once we get into the
Hmm.
school, this is my favorite thing with Cameron, though. He's a new kid on the block, and basically he's a army brat. And then Miss Perky is over there and goes, so what was your school like? Oh, it was good and everything. And then this all of a sudden some
Hmm.
kids winds up throwing some toilet paper with some crap on it, And she goes, "You see over here, it's the same shit for brains." And then Cameron's like, "Excuse me?" Because that's actually something that was just thrown off. Because I know I would actually be thrown off by that because normally the kids are actually the ones who actually cusses like that. You
Yeah.
know, Crichton is
Yeah.
actually saying Heath Ledger did a great Frank Sinatra song and dance. He did. I thought that was
Yeah.
Frankie Valli for a minute though that sang that song. I'm not 100% sure though. I could be wrong, but it's not going to be the first time I'm wrong about anything. But you know, I definitely have to say though, I liked that whole entire thing because you don't expect the principal to actually cuss. You actually expect the students to actually cuss. And he's like, "Excuse me." Just okay. I got a novel to read. Scoot, scoot, scoot. and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she makes him pair up with Michael, and Michael's part of the audio visual department.
Hmm.
And this is what's funny though. He goes, "I'm just glad that they didn't put me with somebody from those geeks from the audio visual departments or anything because they get on my nerves." He goes, "Oh yeah, I totally understand, man. I totally get it." And all of a sudden, this one they're passing in the hallway. He goes, "Hey, Michael, where did you put the audio stuff at?" He goes, "Michael," just blows it off. but but I actually like that. And then, of course, as he's showing him around, you actually have the cliques that we mentioned. We have the Cowboys and everything. The South,
Mhm.
which I don't get, is in they're in Seattle, but
Yeah.
but that actually reminds me of my school where you actually have these rednecks dressed up in cowboy outfits and stuff like that. Because I can actually say this: we actually had people that dressed up in camouflage in my high school and
Yeah.
everything, and they were actually be on one side, and then just like Cameron, you're walking through it, and there's actually a group of reggae people and everything. These guys dress up as reggae. There's also the theater class that's drinking their coffee, drinking their cappuccinos. Then, of course, you
Mhm.
also have the business type students, which we never had in our school. So I don't understand where that came in. We never had like this, unless you actually consider that like the geeky group squad or whatever. But still,
Yeah.
and then of course, you also have the golf team, which is actually part of that. So you can actually say that they're on that same level. So
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I could actually relate to all that stuff
Yeah.
that he's being
I didn't
shown.
understand. Yeah, I didn't understand the part of the golf. I was really kind of confused. I guess they just kind of threw it in there just to show that people have interest in golf, and it's
Other
not all
sports.
just about. Yeah, it's not like it's about football because I mean they're probably not into football much anyways because it's too icy up there. But anyways,
Well, they have the Seattle Seahawks though,
true, true, but
but what I'm thinking though is this, right? Because down here we actually do have a golf team for the high school and
yeah,
stuff like that. And like you said, there are other sports besides football. So I think that they were actually trying to do something different. Like, okay,
yeah,
football's been done over and over again. At that time, we actually had
yeah.
Varsity Blues. We had all those other football films. So I was actually glad they actually showed archery. They showed soccer. They showed everything
Hmm.
besides football and everything. It made
Yeah,
it totally different. So that's something that I can actually say I appreciated about that. You
yeah,
know.
definitely. Yeah,
So then, of course, after that winds up happening, that's when Cameron's catches Bianca and everything,
yeah,
and he goes, "What group is she in?" And
yeah,
the don't even think about it club is what Michael said,
yeah.
and Cameron's not taking a no for an answer. He wants to be
No.
with Bianca. He loves
Hmm.
Bianca and everything
You
because
know.
here's the thing. I can actually relate to that as a guy who actually had a crush on somebody in high school and things like that. So you don't care how popular the girl is or anything like that. You just want to
Right.
actually try and have a chance to be with that person, and you don't care about anything. And then that's what
Yeah.
Michael said to him. Well, her dad's like an overprotective father with Bianca
Hmm.
and Kat, and that's whenever we actually see how much of a protective father that he actually is. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and let you take over on that part.
Okay. Well, their dad was so strict about them two going out together. If they were had separate dates. And see, I really can't relate to that well, see, my dad, he never was like that. He wasn't. There's some dads that are like that. And like, I don't know, it's just one of those things that the males go through, they don't want nothing to happen to their girls or, their babies. So,
Right.
it's definitely it's a deep thing because like he cares. He deeply cares for them. He has a hard time showing it that he cares. Because them being in high school, they don't realize that what he's doing is actually a good thing.
I can actually see that, to be honest with you. And not only that, but I like how Kat doesn't want anything to do with that town, the town that she's in. She wants to move out of
Hmm.
that town. And then
Yeah,
her father's thinking that she's going to go to the same school that he went to, which is like a community college after college.
yeah,
Because I thought you were going to be a husky like me. Grr. And then she's like, no, I'm going to go to Sarah Lawrence. And so I like that whole entire concept because by the time we were in 12th grade, we're like, I don't want to be in the same town that I grew up in. I
yeah.
want to get
Well, I
out,
was determined.
because I knew, because my classmates and I, we went to from 7th grade all the way to 12th grade inside the same school.
Yeah,
So we got tired of the school. We got tired of going to the same school since we were in 7th grade and going all the way to the 12th grade in the same school,
yeah.
to the point where like, we're screw this. We want out of this town. We want to do our own
Hmm.
thing. And that's what I feel like
Yeah.
Kat is wanting to do. And Crichton actually has a question too. Do
Okay.
y'all think that this movie would be able to last through movie history time? I think that it actually stands out on its own. I still think that it's considered a classic in a sense since it's
Yeah.
in 1999 and has a lot of good flavors to the film. It has a lot of good drama, has some good background of the
Romance.
characters. Yep. I'm gonna let you take on some of it though too. What else would you say that was actually good about the film that you liked?
About the whole thing in general.
Well, just in certain things like I mentioned, like little small
Oh,
nuggets that I
oh,
mentioned.
okay. Okay. I liked when Cameron noticed Kate, and like I
Oh,
just
yeah.
really enjoyed how them two, like he just had like a connection. Like he was just like, "Who's
Oh yeah,
that?"
with
Like
Bianca. Yeah,
it was just like it was just so glorious because it's like no one else mattered but her. And to me,
right.
that is true love because like it could be like 20 of the girls in the room, but it could just be that one because she's different in a
Exactly.
special way. Yeah. That
Right.
was my
And
favorite part.
right, and that was actually pretty cool. That to be honest with you, that's actually how it's supposed to be with Cameron, with Bianca and everything too. And then also too, I liked it when Joey. We actually see Joey Donner, which is actually the most popular pretty boy in high school. He's like the Zach Morris of that high school. If you don't know who
Yeah.
Zach Morris is, that's Saved by the Bell people. If you don't know what Saved by the Bell is, check it out.
Okay.
But
I've
he's
heard of
like
it.
the right, but he's like the Zach Morris, the most popular kid in school.
Yeah.
He's like, but that's actually who Bianca is actually has eyes for, which is actually the Don't Think About It, Even Think About It club that
Yeah.
Michael actually was telling him about, Cameron about. But
Hmm.
my other favorite thing is as they're going through the parking lot, getting ready to go home for the day. Out comes out of nowhere, Kat almost hits him with the car with her
Yeah.
Mustang. He goes, "Hey, idiot, look both ways before crossing." And he goes, "Okay, thank you." And then and then Cameron goes, "Who's that?" "That was your girlfriend's sister."
Yeah.
Then also
Yeah.
too, I liked how, and there's also another scene though. I'm gonna go back a little bit where it's going with
Okay.
Kat inside the classroom, and the teacher's like, and she talks about how she didn't like the book because of how egotistical the guy was, and a drunkard and all that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he goes on a huge rant about, okay, next time tell me what it would be like to have a book written by a black man. And all of a sudden the two Bob Marley fans and everything, the two Ray-Ban guys,
Yeah.
yes, mom, yes, mom. And and he goes, "Don't even
Yes.
get me started. Don't even get me started on YouTube."
Yeah, yeah, that was man. There was one scene that really struck out to me. It was
Mhm.
when I guess Bianca was in the class, and the teacher was just I don't know how I felt about that teacher. He was just kind of like he wanted to pick sides, but then he didn't. Like he wanted to pick her side, but he also wasn't going to deal with Joey's issues.
Right,
So
exactly.
yeah, and that teacher was just not going to put up with it. And see, like, it actually made me mad. Like, I was like, oh, he did not just say that, where he was like telling her, maybe she needs to take her Midol before she comes in class. I was like, boy,
Yeah,
you're
Joey
going to
did.
get beat.
Right, because remember, he said this to her. The teacher said this to Joey. He said, "Someday someone's gonna bitch slap you, and no one's gonna do anything about it." And
Yeah.
that made me. And he even said that he's not even gonna be around to stop it either. So I actually like that.
Yeah, man, I can relate to that so many times. Like when I was in high school, there was just guys that were making me mad, and boy, there was some close that I just almost came out and just popped them in the face.
Oh, I can imagine. Because we always have
Yeah.
that douchebag, egotistical asshole that always wants to do
Yes.
things to terrorize you and things like and terrorize women and everything too. Then
Yeah.
another thing too is so all of a sudden Cameron and Michael coop up with this idea because
Hmm.
the father at that point winds up making the thing where you're not dating until Kat starts dating. She goes,
Right.
she's like a
Yeah.
nun. She never dates. She goes, ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Yes.
And then,
Um.
yeah, go
Yeah.
on.
I was gonna say like Joey just the character he just gave me the creeps. Okay, like you could always tell like he was really stuck up. He was better than everyone else. Your everyday life you're gonna find somebody who thinks they're better than you just by
Yep,
anything, looks, money. You get all the girls or all the guys. It doesn't matter. You're gonna find that one person. And I could definitely tell, like the first time I saw him, I was like, yep, he's a player.
definitely a player, definitely a douchebag.
Yeah.
Not only that, but even the photos the headshots that he has for the underwear commercial.
Yeah. I was
It
like,
is,
I don't
he's like, what headshot looks better? And it's the same
yeah.
headshot with the same pose. I get the fact that, with headshots and everything because, we talked about, well, the person I interviewed last night, we talked about headshots and stuff like that
Yeah.
and about the artisticness behind headshots. And, it's the same pose. There's nothing artistic about it or anything.
Yeah.
It's just,
It
and he's
all
just like,
yeah, all the difference was the shirt color. And I was like, okay. I mean, I understand you're a model, but let's show some class here. I mean,
right, exactly. It just shows how he's like a woman. He's a womanizer though too. You can definitely
yeah,
tell.
yeah. Oh, he made me mad in this one scene where he was like, he wanted to take Kat. I guess, yeah, he was interested in Kat, but she was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go to prom with you. But then she didn't realize that Cameron was going to ask her. So she
No, it
kind of
was
got in between. Yeah. She got caught in between two guys. So,
right. That's true. Bianca did. Bianca got in
oh,
between two
yeah.
guys. Yeah,
I get them
Bianca.
too.
Cat was the one. It's okay. But yeah, Patrick was the one that Cat winds up is one where Cameron and Michael are actually wanting Patrick to date Cat so that way Cameron can pursue Bianca
Right.
and everything.
Okay.
And Bianca was the
Okay.
one who had the two dates between Joey and Cameron.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but the thing that I thought that was actually funny though too, I remember they were going to go to that party and everything at Bogey Lawrence's, and basically what happened was Michael wanted to get revenge on Bogey, so he makes
Yeah.
up the BYO bring your own beer, bring your own booze flyers, and
Mhm.
tosses them over the railing. Then also
Yes.
too, that's what made me laugh. and everything
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And then of
I was like,
course,
well, dang.
but let's talk about the setup though, about how Cameron and Michael uh, decides on who they want to actually how to date Kat and everything, how to set
Yeah.
up different guys with Kat. Because I thought it was funny. It was like auditioning for a movie or something like that. The way they were setting that up, like, hey, would
Hmm.
you ever go with Kat? He goes, yeah, if my balls were on fire or something like that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and this other guy's like, nah, man, I haven't been that ripped before. There's no way I would do that. And then and then finally, Cameron's like, and Michael's like, tells Cameron, he goes, I told you it was impossible. No one wants to date Kat.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden they look at Patrick entering biology class, cutting open a frog, and he has a switchblade knife, stabs the frog in the heart, lights up a
I was
cigarette
like,
in
what?
class, and plays with the
Yeah.
flame. And Cameron goes,
Yeah.
that's our guy.
Yeah. I was like, what? How? Like, I don't know, but that was crazy.
It
Like, he
was.
definitely made that character boom for sure.
He did. Heath Ledger did a fantastic job at playing as Patrick and everything.
Yes.
And also, too, another thing that actually stuck out to me though with that scene was this. He goes, look, I don't think Michael turns around and goes, you know how rumors are in high school. He goes, man, I don't know about that. I don't know about him dating her. I already did time and Sam Quentin, and
Yeah.
and he sold his liver on the black market. So,
Yes. I was like, damn.
and then they also try to do, of course, Cameron also picks up French because Bianca is actually trying to learn French.
Yeah.
So he tries to
Yeah.
do it that way, and then Patrick also drills a hole in the middle of
Yeah.
his language book.
Yeah. And he was sitting there trying to read it. I'm just like, you might as well go get another book, dude. I mean, you're not
Right.
gonna learn a language trying to do it that way.
Definitely not. But I appreciate the consistency that Cameron had. He was gonna let nothing stop him from making him teach French to Bianca. I thought that was actually pretty cool. And
Yeah.
then, of course, with the Bogey Lawrence situation with the party, the father goes, "No, you're not going to a party." He winds up telling Bianca that. He goes, "No, you're not going to a party." And then all of a sudden, that's when they actually start getting the plot together and everything
Yeah.
too. Remember, they
Yeah.
actually because Cameron actually says this is how are we going to get someone to date Kat? How are we going to do that?
Hmm.
And at that point, Michael's like, we need a backer. He goes, what's a backer?
Yeah.
Someone that's stupid enough to
Just spend
pay
money.
somebody to take her out, take out Kat.
Yeah.
So he puts the idea in Joey's head to pay Patrick money to take Kat out, so that way Cameron will go out with her. But instead, it's reversed back over to Joey, so
Uh,
Joey can take Bianca out instead.
yeah. Man, just with all that twist and turn, like that's why I'm getting confused on the characters because it's so bizarre on who's with who, and so it's just like, oh my god. So
Oh, I
like I had to
understand.
I had to pay really close attention on who's who because if I didn't pay attention, I was not going to figure out who's who. So
Definitely. Because
yeah,
here's the thing, I grew up with this film. I was in high school when I saw this film on VHS and everything. And so it
yeah,
just stuck with me. So I also, I'm able to actually know the scenes. I'm able to know which characters are with each character. For your first time, I actually can tell that this could be too convoluted for someone maybe for the first time watching it trying to keep up with the characters. So I can definitely see that side.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
But underneath the surface of all the characters, they have a lot of heart and a lot of driven stuff about them. That's something that I really liked was they weren't like one dimensional. They have stuff going on with them
Yeah.
too.
Hmm.
But at the party though, I actually liked it when Patrick rings the doorbell. Bianca has the fraternity uh, thing on to make it look like she's pregnant to actually, so that way so her father can actually say, hey, look, these are the consequences if you wind up sleeping with someone tonight and getting drunk. And then
Yeah.
Patrick just looks at her and goes, and looks at Kat and goes, who knocked up your sister?
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he made her wear that. I was like, I would
but
not be able to live that down.
but you want to go into the party scene? Do you I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
talk about the party scene.
That was okay. I'm kind of having a hard time remembering the party scene.
Okay, it's Bogey Lawrence's party. He's over
Yeah.
there having Chardonnay with his friends
Mhm.
and brandy with his friends. And next thing you know it, there's a knock at the door. He's like, oh, that must be so and so with the caviar. And all of a sudden, he just gets bum rushed into his own home. And there's
Yeah.
this huge speaker that they bring in. Not only did they bring that in, they also bring in the alcohol, the kegs of
Oh
beer, the
yes.
DJ comes in, and it's
Okay.
just bombarded with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And at
So
that
many
moment,
people.
right. And then, of course, I like the scene with Michael and Cameron, though, too. They're getting ready for the party while all this is actually going on and being taking place. And
Mhm.
they're like, how does my hair look? My hair looks good. What about my sideburns? Are my sideburns okay? It just reminds me of high school dances before going into high school dances and everything. Like, how do I look? Do I look okay? How's my hair? How's my sideburns? And
Yeah.
everything. So that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I,
Um.
I love the chemistry between Michael and Cameron.
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely, like I don't know, like they kind of had each other's backs. Like they know what they were doing was wrong, but they were wanting, they wanted to give Kat a chance because everyone Kat seemed to have this like reputation that she was mean. She was
Right.
just stuck up, just didn't give a
Freaked.
shit about anybody.
No.
And really, there's like you had to go underneath the deep layers because at the end we found out that she was hurt and nobody really knew about it. She kept it in. So that's why
Right.
that's the way she is because she was protecting herself because she couldn't trust
Right.
anybody.
Right. Her walls were up. The only one that could pretty much break through those walls was Patrick, but that's in a small
Yeah.
dosage though, if you actually think about it, because even at that
Yeah.
party, it was a hard time letting Patrick in and goes, hey, you need to slow down on the drinking. Even though he was one of those guys that just didn't give a shit either, he actually
Yeah.
was giving a shit about her. Even though he was
Yeah.
getting paid, he was actually being more considerate and caring towards her and be like, hey, look, you need to slow down on the drinking. You're going to wind up yakking on someone's shoes. Because, what are you doing? He goes, I'm having a party, dude. What do you think I'm doing? Next thing you know,
Yeah.
Biggie Smalls' song comes on,
Yeah.
and it's the song Hypnotized, and she gets on top of the table and she starts dancing.
Yeah. And everyone just seemed like it was, humiliating. They all made it seem like she was just losing her mind. Everyone made her feel like she was crazy. No, she was just having a good time.
Right,
Those people, they were too busy drinking. They wouldn't know what a good time was, even if it was in front of them.
right.
And that,
And also,
yeah.
too, right. Also, too, I think they were a little surprised, though, to see Kat loosen up a
Mm-hmm.
little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
I
if
always
you come shy and, if you have that reputation of being shy and just not wanting to deal with anybody, that's a hard shell to crack open to come out and dance on a table in front of, I don't know how many people were there, but many. It was more than 20 for sure. And
right,
then she was like, walking home, like, cause see, she was so down on herself about how she was hurt, how she doesn't feel like her dad can trust her going out with people. That's why, he's giving them this rule. So now she's drinking in herself to make her feel better. It's a
right,
coping thing. Yeah.
right. I didn't think about that though. I didn't actually think about the coping situation. So that's actually a pretty
Yeah.
cool thing. I didn't think about that. Um, Also, too, with their peers being there and stuff like that, it's kind of a shell shock situation because they all thought that she was one of those girls that just didn't give a shit about anything, didn't care about partying, didn't want to go anywhere, do anything.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
antisocial, but just didn't want to be bothered with anybody.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
also, too, another thing that I really liked was,
Mhm.
Cameron sees her with Joey, sees Bianca with Joey, and he's pissed off
Mhm.
because he's supposed to be the one who was supposed to be with her, and then he tells Patrick, Heath Ledger's character, "Hey, look, man, it's off, it's done." And my favorite line in that movie is, don't let anyone ever tell you that you're not good enough for anyone."
Yeah.
That was my favorite line in that whole entire thing. So that boosted
Yeah.
up Cameron's confidence.
Mhm.
So then, of course, I think something ended up happening where Bianca and Joey had a fight, and so she
Yeah.
winds up um, going in Cameron's car, and Cameron actually has to bring her home.
Yeah.
And you know, I definitely love that. He goes, "Look, I really like you," and of course, she's calling him Kenny, Kenneth, anything besides Cameron. So
Yeah.
she doesn't really know him or anything like that. She just
Yeah.
uh
You-
is just
She
using
just
him.
needed a ride. Yeah.
Right. And so I
Mhm.
like how Cameron calls her out on her bullshit because he goes, "Look, I care about you and everything, and the way I look at you is the way I don't look at anybody else besides you and everything. You're
Yeah.
this good-looking girl. You treat people like shit because you think that you can get away with hurting people, but really you can't get away with hurting anyone. So I definitely
Mhm.
like how he called her out on the bullshit. And then all of a sudden, she just kisses him and then goes inside the house and she smirks. And then Cameron bangs on the steering wheel. He goes, "I'm back in the game." So
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I liked how when they were in the car, like you said, they were talking and he was just blabbing off stuff that how he, how he's upset with himself and he's also upset with her, but he didn't want it to feel like it was her fault, even though it
right,
kind of was. But that he was trying to express his feelings without dumping it on her because he didn't want to hurt her feelings. And I
right.
just loved it when she just leans over and just gives him a kiss just to shut him up. I love that. Like,
Me
that's just
too.
amazing. And then she just walks off, and I'm just like, yes, go. Yeah.
Then another thing though too is it breaks into Kat and also Patrick and they're at the party, and then of course he brings her home, but she also threw up on Patrick.
Yeah.
And she was hoping, Kat was actually hoping in a way, whenever they came back home, that he would at least kiss her, but he doesn't. He goes, well,
Yeah.
but he's also respecting her and everything. He's not
Yeah.
turning her down. It's the
No.
whole fact that, number one, she's drunk. She just threw up. The last thing that she needs to do is be kissing
Yeah.
anyone and trying to start something when she's not in her right mind. So that's what I
Right.
was thinking.
Mhm.
So she
Yeah,
gets
I was
pissed off
thinking that
at
too.
him. So yeah, she gets
Yeah.
pissed off at him and goes
Yeah.
back in.
Yeah, she got real mad at him because she was just like, "You don't love me, so why are we doing this?"
Well, you don't
So
like me,
that's
we have nothing in common type of situation.
yeah, like she didn't. It's like you, you blink, you think you know what you're doing, and then you blink again, and you're just like, "What am I doing here? Why am I on a date with you?"
Right.
So yeah, she was kind of. It was almost like a starstruck thing where she just didn't really know like what she was doing. She didn't really know why he didn't kiss her, but really, truly, it was a good thing that he didn't kiss her because it could have gotten bad after that. So,
Definitely. And then the next day at school, Cameron's smiling. He's happy. Bianca is
yeah,
also smiling back at him.
I
And
know
at
that
first I was
was such a
like,
beautiful, that was so beautiful.
it was. I definitely like that because it gives a little bit of a nod saying, you know what, I still like you, even though with our talk and everything that we had, there's something there. So it also gives
Yes.
Cameron a sense of hope.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just the love and the romance and the drama between them. It was just perfect. Like she even though she was probably mad about how the conversation went, she's realizing that what they did was a good thing.
I
So
agree. And
yeah.
then, of course, he tells Patrick, he goes up to Patrick on the field, on the soccer field, and he goes, so you're gonna take out Cat again? He goes, I thought you said you were out. He goes, I was, but that was until she kissed me. And then Patrick goes, where? And that
Yeah.
was actually a sexual remark. And Cameron goes, on the lips. And
Yeah.
then at that point, um, oh, in my car. That's what he says. He goes, in my
Yeah, in my
car.
car. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, I thought that was actually pretty funny. And Patrick's just being thrown off because he was actually expecting a lot more from it than just that.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then at that point, that's when Cat goes on ahead and kicks the soccer ball at his head.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's just crazy how she knew that they were talking about her,
Right.
like
They
even
were
though
also
she was
talking about
far
her.
away, she knew they were
Right.
talking about her.
Well, not that. I was more of the fact that she was still pissed off from that night, and just seeing him pissed her off even
True.
more. That's what
Yeah,
I was
that could
thinking.
be true.
Not so much
Yeah.
as them talking about her, more the fact that, you know, if you see somebody's face, you just want to go ahead and kick their ass in a sense
Yeah. Yeah.
and knock some sense into them. So that's what I got out of that.
Mhm.
But also too, this is what I thought that was actually funny. Was this? He goes, "Well, I don't think that she's gonna go out with me anymore or anything. I think she's still mad. Maybe a couple of days, maybe a day or something. She might be okay." And then all of a sudden, the soccer
Yeah.
ball just comes at him out of nowhere, and he goes, "Okay, maybe about 3 days."
3 days. Yes. Yes. And then I don't know when this part was in the movie. I think it was kind of towards the beginning where that guy, I guess it was trying to think of his name. I guess Michael. I guess that's what his name was. Oh no, it was Joey. Joey's the one that was following um not Kate, but Bianca.
Yeah, right, Bianca.
And yeah, and he was like blocking her door to her car, like he was trying to keep her there so he would have a talk with her, and she just wasn't dealing with it. And so she gets in the car, and then another idiot pulled up behind her, and she was like, what is it, idiot's day?
Yeah, Cat does. Yeah, Cat backs into the.
Yes, and like she just got tired of it because they boxed her in, and so that
Right,
made her even madder. So she just backed down, saying, "Oops." I was like,
and
that
then the
car.
and then the father's like, "Oops," and he turns around and he says, "My insurance does not cover PMS."
Yes, I like to died.
Me too. That was just a classic line coming from that actor, which I've seen him
Yeah,
in other movies,
yeah,
and he's such a good actor when a comedic actor. Yeah, whenever it comes
yeah,
down to those type of roles.
yeah.
But another thing though that I liked was the when they're in detention. Uh, when yeah, because of the fact that Patrick winds up deciding, okay, if I'm gonna have to win her back, I'm gonna have to do something. So he winds up using the money that Joey paid him to go
Yeah,
ahead and saying, I can't take my eyes off of you.
yeah.
And that's when he's over there, security's over there trying to tackle him down. He's got the whole entire band behind him as he's
Hmm.
singing and everything too. I thought it was actually a perfect. This cinematography was really good whenever it came down to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It was really really good, well put
And the
together for sure.
choreography too. Right.
Yes, yeah, and I guess you probably want to talk about the next part about the part he was in detention and stuff. And
Yeah. When he goes into
I'll let you
detention,
talk about that one.
okay. When he's in detention, there's actually a lot of kids that of course misbehaved and things like that. There's actually this donor kid. He's like, "You're high, aren't you?" He goes, "No, I'm not high." He goes, "Your eyes are bloodshot."
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he just takes the the Cheetos away from him, and he starts eating the Cheetos. The teacher does, and then
Yeah.
at that point, Cat comes in, and
Mhm.
Not to mention, this teacher's also the soccer coach,
Yeah.
also.
Mhm.
And goes, hey, I have a great plan. Guess what? We're gonna distract them, distract the other team. While they're looking left, they're gonna be looking right, and when they're looking right, that's when we're gonna strike. Just okay, that sounds like a good plan. How are we gonna do that? Next thing you know, she flashes him, and at that point too, Patrick is also sneaking out of the detention, out of the window of the school and everything,
Yes.
so that way they can go out on a date.
Yeah, she walked out of there so embarrassed. Like even the character, just the actress herself, you can see her face blushed. I was like, damn.
Right. I wonder if that was improv or not. That's something that I'm wondering about on that part.
Yeah, no,
But
I wonder if that's just like, yeah, I wonder if that's just, her reaction to it, but that was a really good reaction.
that was like a really normal reaction to somebody that you might actually
Yeah.
like and care for.
Yeah, because I personally couldn't imagine walking up to an instructor and go, "Woo!" I don't think I could do that. That's a lot of power there.
That's a lot. That's ballsy. I'll say that.
Yes,
That's definitely ballsy.
yes, for sure.
And then they're on that little boat thing, that those little boat pedal things,
Hmm.
and that's when Patrick says it's not every day that a girl flashes the teacher to get me out of detention. And
Yes,
then
yeah.
and then they go to that paintball war place though
Oh
too,
yeah,
and start doing the water balloons. I thought that was actually pretty cool. And you're thinking that
yeah,
this date is actually going to be a success until they actually get to her door once they go over to Kat's house,
yeah.
and come to find out, Patrick wants to actually take her to prom. And this is
Hmm.
also where Joey's actually paying him double, if not triple, the amount of money that he was also paying him from the beginning. Because this is actually the big deal. This is the big moment for him to be
Hmm.
with Bianca, for Joey to be with
Yeah,
Bianca.
yeah.
So Patrick is actually kind of pushing it too. But I'm
Yeah.
wondering too if that's also. Did you actually? My question is this: did you feel like he was being pushy because of the fact Joey paid him that much money, or was he being pushy because he actually wanted to spend time with her and be with her on prom?
Well, I kind of think it was about the money at the beginning because he was
Right.
like, well, I'm just here for the money. I'm not really, because he didn't know the girl. He didn't know.
No.
So I figured, I feel like kind of in the middle, I started seeing like there was hearts and stuff flying around when them two were like talking. Like I
Right.
just, yeah, I just kind of felt like there started to be chemistry between them two. So,
All right. But yeah, I was just wondering though, whenever he was asking her to prom, did you feel like
yeah.
that was being pushy, or was that something that you felt like he was getting paid for? That's why he was being so pushy.
I don't think it was for the money. I think it was
Okay.
because he had love for her, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then of course, that's when not Bianca, when Kat winds up telling, when he goes, look, will you go to prom with me? And then Kat's like, why do you want to go to prom? He goes, I don't know, maybe to have the pleasure of your company, that's all that I want. And then
Yeah.
it's typical teenage drama kind of thing where he just goes in his car and drives off because he's getting tired of dealing with it.
Yeah, yeah. Cause like it's getting him confused because he's like, well, I'm being paid to date her, but she doesn't know that. So he's kind of like, well, do I like her or do I not? Do I like the money or do I want to keep playing her? So he had to make a decision, and he almost made the decision right there in front of her when she had no idea.
Right.
Which
And that's also why he
which
was getting defensive.
yeah, yeah, because he was being pressured because he has to keep this coming because they're trying to get Kat to date somebody else, to date
Well, Bianca
somebody.
to date Bianca to date somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
I don't even know anymore.
It's okay. But yeah, it's you know, I like that scene, and then of course after that happens, at that point Bianca and Cameron are actually dating. I believe, And then after that happens, the prom stuff winds up happening.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's a William Shakespeare themed prom. Then, of course, you also have the teacher who wants them to make a poem out of, uh, the William Shakespeare's poems and stuff. Make their own
Yeah.
iteration of the poems. And I like it when Kat raises her hand and goes, "Yes, miss, I have opinion about everything."
Yes. I was like, damn.
And he goes, she goes, how do you want us to write it? I think this is actually a good project. And he goes,
Yeah.
what? And, and he was taken back from that. He's like, okay, now you're just pissing me off and playing games with me. Go see Perky's. Go see her.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, he didn't even notice that she wasn't even attacking him. I was like, of course he doesn't. He's used to her, causing havoc in the
Right,
class. So
right,
when, if they're if they're used to them being in trouble and then they decide, oh, well, this is a good project, they really think they're just playing them.
right.
So,
Just trying to suck up to the teacher, pretty much, or playing
yeah,
the people. But yeah, I can definitely see why he would actually say that, especially whenever Kat's always doing something to him,
yeah,
to the
mhm,
teacher. But then,
yeah,
like I said, this is actually my favorite thing though, is the prom scene, because it's actually a William Shakespeare type of vibe to it,
yes,
Renaissance type of prom, which I thought that was actually
hmm
pretty cool. And
yes,
then
I love that.
Michael also winds up with Kat's friend, who's also obsessed with William Shakespeare,
Yes,
which I thought was
yes,
funny.
hmm I love that. I loved how she opened the locker and there was her
Right.
gown and he was asking her to prom. I just loved that.
Me too. And Michael's just being sarcastic with her. He doesn't exactly know how to actually ask somebody out. So he's just making
Yeah,
jokes about William Shakespeare. He goes, "What's that for? To get to help him not lick the stitches out of his wounds?"
yeah,
Because when we take animals to the vet and they have that shell on their head, all around their head and everything, so the
yeah,
way they don't pull the stitches out and everything, that's actually what it's referenced to. I thought that was actually
mhm,
funny.
yeah,
And at that point, she thought she was actually taking him serious and she was getting pissed off at him. But Michael goes, "No, I want to take you to prom." So that's his date. Michael has a date. Cameron's got
yeah,
Bianca now. Well, we
yeah.
don't know that though. We don't know that that Cameron's with Bianca and everything until that ring at the door.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Um,
even the father's taken away though a little bit though, because he's expecting probably Joey, someone that's actually a womanizer, someone that's a complete douchebag. And then you look
yeah.
at Cameron, who's actually the opposite of what Joey is.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Bianca, what's going on over here?" He goes, "Oh, we're going to prom. Kat's got a date and everything that's perfect for him, perfect for her, and
Mhm.
Cameron's actually the perfect guy for me, so I'm going to prom." So as they're
Yeah.
leaving the door, the father's like, "I know every sheriff in town, bucko," just threatening him, playing.
Yes, yes, yes. And I really thought them two made a really good couple. Like they were just
I did
perfect for
too.
each other, and it was definitely true love. And um, but yeah, back to Joey. Joey, he didn't realize that when they were at the party that he didn't know that Bianca was going to see him dancing with other girls. So, like, she was distraught. She was broken
Right,
because she thought, he only wanted her. But that's
right.
not what the case was. He was just there to party. He didn't care.
No,
And so that broke her heart. So that's when she decided to go to Cameron.
right. And that's why she was
So,
pissed off at him. Yeah, I couldn't remember why, because remember, I said I didn't remember why she was pissed off at Joey. So I'm actually glad that you
yeah.
actually put that in. And it also reflects back
Thank
over to the whole entire. You're welcome, because it actually reflects back over to the door with the father. Because Joey's the type of
Yeah.
guy who goes, okay, well, that only happened at the party once. and she's probably gonna forgive me. So I'm just gonna do what every other popular guy would do. I'm gonna go on ahead and uh,
Mhm.
go to prom because she's probably over the fact that I was a jerk off to her.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different thing because Bianca doesn't isn't even thinking about him.
No, she did
So
not. All she was thinking about it was Cameron, and
right,
she was going to
and then
her
the
prom.
right, and then the doorbell rings again about an hour or two later, and Joey is at the door with a
Yeah,
scarf on, with a white jacket tuxedo, with the black
yeah,
pants,
yeah.
and he goes, "Hi, Mr. Stratford. I am Joey, and I'm gonna be taking your daughter Bianca to prom." All of a sudden, the door just slams in his face.
I know. Like he just knew. He knew what Joey was up to.
Right.
That was so funny because he was like, "Hell no, she ain't
Yeah.
doing this."
And at that
He was
moment,
like,
I
"I'm
think,
not getting involved."
right. He's like, he goes, I'm glad that Bianca chose this other guy over you, basically, and then just shuts the door.
Yes, yes. Just by the look of him, you can tell he's a player. Players all
Yeah,
come different sizes and shapes. They come in everything, so
yeah,
you can never be too careful.
exactly. But at the prom, though, Joey comes in and he's like, he taps on Patrick's shoulder. He goes, "I did not pay you so that way to have that little bitch be with somebody else."
Yeah.
And that's when Kat just looks at Patrick, and Patrick's looking back at
Mhm.
Kat, shell shocked. And at that moment, Kat takes off. Then the next thing you know, Joey goes over to where Cameron is, taps him on the shoulder, and then catches a nut cap, but Bianca winds up hitting him. But here's the thing: we don't know why Kat doesn't want to go to the prom in the first place. Come to
Right.
find out, Joey and Kat used to date.
Oh, I didn't
Remember?
catch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is back when Bianca and him were
Okay.
Bianca and Kat were talking, having that having that sister conversation in in her bedroom. He's like, I
Oh,
used to,
okay.
yeah. She
Yeah.
goes, I used to date Pat. I used to date Joey, and Joey made up a
Yeah.
rumor saying that we slept together when we didn't sleep together,
Yeah.
and that's why I don't want you associated with Joey or anything like that,
Yeah.
and why I don't date anybody anymore because of Joey.
Yeah.
So after that, that actually made sense, and Bianca actually understands where she's coming from. So at prom, when Bianca actually hits Joey, and she goes, "This is for my sister, this is for me, and this is for you hitting my boyfriend."
Yeah.
That's
That makes
that.
so much more sense. Yeah. Yeah. Um, cause like her sister Kat was trying to warn Bianca that he is not who he says he is. He's a
Right,
player. So she was trying to warn her about him, but Bianca was just kind of in and out of her head. She was just like, what do I do? I like him and he likes me. So it's just kind of one of those, it's kind of like you have to listen to your ego when your ego is talking really soft and you can't
right.
hear it. Yeah. So, um, but yeah, it was just tough for her.
It was. It definitely was. And then after that, we wind up seeing the next day after the prom the conflict with Patrick and also Kat,
Hmm.
where basically she's not talking to him, and she wrote down this poem, 10 Things I Hate About You, and she's crying during that whole entire scene. And then
Yeah.
Patrick walks out of the classroom because of the fact that he feels guilty. He's guilt and shame shine through that scene, and he leaves. Then the
Yeah.
next thing you know, he winds up surprising her and telling her, "Look, I'm sorry for being an asshole. I'm sorry for what I've done to you."
Yeah.
And he surprises her with the guitar that she's been wanting.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
And
And
she
then she
goes,
was Yeah, go ahead.
No, no, I'm gonna let you do that one.
Okay. And she was like, well, you can't, fix everything, buy me a guitar. Then he kisses her. And then she's like, you can't fix everything by kissing me. Then he just kissed her again. It's just like,
Right.
uh,
Then she also says, "You can't fix everything by buying me a guitar." He goes, "I know, but there's tambourine, bass, xylophone, drums."
mm-hmm. Yes.
And then "I Want You to Want Me" is playing. It's actually a good ending. I really liked how it was. This movie a lot. Like I said, it
Yeah.
reminds me of a lot of my high school days. This is a fun film. I definitely recommend it if you guys have Disney Plus and
Yeah.
everything. So if you guys have Disney Plus, check it out. It's a good film. It's a fun film for Valentine's Day. I picked
Yeah.
something a little bit outside of the box with the rom coms and stuff like that. But I think it's a good laugh, and it's also, I want to say, it's a good teen movie if you're a teenager and watching this or listening to this podcast.
Yeah. There was one thing I wanted to say about the ending. See, I really did. I mean, I kind of cared for the ending, but it just wasn't. It just wasn't there to me. Like the ending
But,
should have been like, I don't know, her and Cameron should like. It didn't show them two. It didn't show
right,
Cameron and Kate.
right,
Or
and Bianca, Cameron and
yeah,
Bianca. So
yeah,
this is just my thought process. It's like, okay, everything is fine with Cameron and Bianca at this
yeah,
moment.
yeah,
So the real focus is now. That chapter for Bianca and Cameron is now
mm-hmm,
closed because there's no
yeah,
conflict going on with them. He's with her. Nothing else matters. Now it's about focusing in on these other two characters that are having conflict with each other, who wants to be with each other, but Kat don't know if she can actually trust him for what he did to her.
yeah,
So they have to try and bring them to a close. So I think that was the main focus, is bringing those two characters to a
yeah.
close.
Yeah, I mean, it did make a lot of sense now that you put it that way. I don't know. I was just looking for like, like I just like fairy tales, okay? Like I just like happy endings. Yeah.
Well,
I
you
don't know.
still got that happy ending. You still got that
Yeah.
closure and
Yeah,
everything.
we
It's just
did.
that I understand what you're saying. You wanted to, since it was mainly focused on Cameron and Bianca, you wanted to
Yeah.
see more Cameron and Bianca than you wanted to see about Kat and Patrick. But
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from because those two were actually the main characters, not Kat and Patrick.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I totally understand. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to actually touch on when it comes down to this film. Is there anything else
Yeah.
that you wanted to talk about?
There was one where it was like the beginning. I don't know who was driving the motorcycle or like and he was like showing off saying, "Hey guys, look at my bike." And he
Michael. That was
accidentally like
Michael.
gunned it. He just like starts wide. I'm just like, "Oh my god."
Right, and then even in whenever he's parking his bike at the bar,
Yeah.
because all these you see the Harley Davidsons, all these
Yeah.
other Harleys, and here's his little small bike. And I like how they were actually going into the bar to ask Patrick
Mhm.
to date Kat and
Yeah.
everything. And they're acting like these tough guys. Pat Michael is. He's bowled up, walking in there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, he's just like
right,
one of the tough guys. I just
and he
love
goes,
that
"We need to
part.
talk." And remember, he
Yeah.
said this. This is what Michael says. He goes, "We need to talk. We need to talk about Bianca." He goes, "Why? Does the girl have bareflated nipples or something?" And that's when Cameron explodes on him. And
Yes. Yeah.
oh, you're not going to be talking about her nipples. I'm like, or something to an extent.
Yes. Man, but yeah, that was another one of my favorite parts.
It was definitely great. It was definitely a great film. I love this film. I watch it every single time it's on. And you can't capture lightning in a bottle twice by remaking this movie or anything like that. It's perfectly well
Mm-mm.
crafted, perfectly well casted as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so where can everybody follow you at? Because you're actually an independent actress and everything too. That's actually trying to get your name out there. So I'm gonna let you do your plugs.
Okay. You can follow me on Instagram for Target Tara. That's Target, like Target, and then Tara. It's a long story. Anyways, follow my Facebook page. It's Tara Hallett, and that will be my acting page. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. All right, and guys, you guys don't have to, but if you guys choose to do so, you guys can go on ahead and donate to the page. How do you do that? Click the link below. Go to www.gofundme.com/Movie Lovers Unite and donate over there. And for all your entertainment needs and pleasures and wants, go on ahead. Go to www.movieloversunite.com for all your movie entertainment news, movie reviews, TV news, TV reviews. Go on ahead and check that out over there. Also, too, we're also on Pinterest at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite over there. We're on Instagram at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite over there. We're, a matter of fact, Tamika and I at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific Time. We're going to be on the Stereo app talking about Judas and the Black Messiah that just got released on HBO Max today in select theaters. And we're going to be doing a review for that. So go ahead, hop on Stereo. Follow me at Movie Lovers Unit over there. And then also, too, follow me on Movie Lovers Unit on not on Instagram, but on Twitter. Then also, too, follow me on John DeGregorio 8 over there on Twitter as well. And that's pretty much everywhere that you guys can actually follow me on. This is actually brought to you by Audible. Go on ahead, get your 30-day subscription from Audible on us for 30 days. And always, until next time, guys, it's been fun. It's been a blast. I can't wait to do this again tonight. And bye-bye.